1.
Okay, so for my final project, my topic is on how to grow your personal learning network. So what I did and have started to do was I went and I built out my first lesson, and I started doing it out of uh, Google Slides. And so right now I've built it out with all of the slides into it with videos, um, and images and things of that nature, all the way through. And this is pretty much just the basics to hit on, key terms, to examine, benefits, and then how would you create a PLN. And so this is the basis of my first lesson. And then I went and I took this and moved it over into Nearpod so that I could put in the quiz questions that I wanted to ask as part of the lesson. And so I built it out. And so I'll just kind of click through the first couple of slides. And so it's the same as it was in Google Docs. And so, it allowed me to throw in the YouTube videos that I had put into my Google slide, it allowed me to put it in there. And then it allowed me to go in and throw in my questions that I wanted to. So it was pretty easy to go in, throw in the questions, what were the answers, and then go through. And so it does that. If we were in a live version of it, then at the end of each question, it would pull up a graph that shows, how many people got it right, how many got it wrong. That would happen in real time. And so that's what I've done through most of the presentation. And there's several questions that pop up in between some of the information and such. And so I think this is my last question. Yeah. And then they would reach the conclusion of lesson 1. And so then my next thing that I was thinking of having people do is to come and do like a collaborative board together. So once you did that, everybody could come in and, brainstorm on, how would you begin, your personal learning network. And I went in and I threw some up there, but it's, by connecting with other, teachers. And then you could post it. And so it would create this wall. And so I'm thinking that might be one of the additional assignments as part of my lesson plans that I'm building out for the project. So essentially that's kind of where I'm at now. I just need to go through and add in now my write-up and my text and things of that nature to put into my folder. But for the most part, that's kind of where I'm at.
Nice. Okay, so I decided to, can you still see my screen? Okay, so what I did was do scan and learn in the 21st century. So I completely changed my outline title. And what I decided to start with is actually the end result, sort of. So I created a website, and it basically takes you through what's the importance of a QR code, creating a QR code, and then QR codes in the classroom. So once you click into here, it takes you to the first introduction of why QR codes. What I did was I put in the benefits of QR codes. So if you go into there, it's an article. And then it also gives you some QR code samples, which the samples, what I wanted to do was show you samples of QR codes in every avenue of the workforce. So not just in a classroom, but you get to see it in marketing, you get to see it in companies, in any type of commercial companies, let's say Starbucks. And so I wanted us to see what are the different and variety QR code samples. And so when you click on it, it takes you to an article, and it lets you see what's the difference in every type of branding of a QR code. So besides just using it in the classroom, this is where else they would see a QR code. And then I put in two videos. One, it tells you about the explanation of the QR code, what's behind actually that symbol and what it's really used for. And then the magic of QR codes in the classroom. I might change this actually. I might move this video back to QR codes in the classroom, this tab. And she goes and delves into the variety that you can use with lessons, with activities. And as you can see right now, she has one of those trees and they're all QR codes. Um, and then creating QR codes. So this is where I'm building out videos. So my first video was actually how to create a Google Form QR code. And so it basically explains to you like what I do. So I live day in and day out off of QR codes. I believe that's why I chose the outline. I do it for every single thing that I do for my district. So I thought, okay, well, how do I coach a teacher on how to build QR codes? Whether it's you're using Google Forms or whether it's a scavenger hunt. So I started off with the first one, which is recording the Google form. How do you create it? How do you get the link? And then how do you go into a QR code generator and grab the QR code, and then you can copy and paste it to wherever you would like. The next one that I'm still building out is the schedule. So one of the things I use in our district is bookings through Microsoft 365, but you could also use it with, Google Scheduler, Google Calendar. And what it is you create your schedule or your calendar, and then you grab the link and you create it into a QR code. And that's basically what I've been using for my students right now when it comes to advising. So all they have to do is take out their phone, scan the QR code, and it takes them to a calendar, and they get to choose the date and time that they want to meet with me. And so that's what I'll be recording tonight, actually. And then the information aspect is scanning the QR code for information. So let's say I want my kids to do a book review, but I need them to understand the book. So I can create a QR code where they scan it, it pops up the book and it gives them the synopsis of that book. And then they can quickly give a review off of the synopsis that they just read. Another way of doing that is information is trying to give your kids, let's say you're trying to give information, for instance, we're in COVID. So you want to give the students some information on COVID. So creating a QR code where they can scan with their iPad or with their cell phone. In my district, we allow kids to use their iPad and we allow kids to use their telephones, their cell phones. And then the last one that I'm still building out is the QR codes in the classroom. So that's really going to go into all the activities that you can use embedding QR codes. So I know I say a lot the scavenger hunt, the book review. I am going to put that flyer of the 8 ways to use a QR code in the classroom. And that's basically going to let the teacher know, oh, this is the one activity that I could do, which is homework. I could use the QR code for homework and they scan it and they see exactly what's due. Or the next one could be, oh, I'm going to give them, tutoring. Maybe just create a QR code, they scan the tutoring. So that schedule could actually be embedded into a tutoring schedule. So they pick the date, they pick the time. And so that's thus far what I have. And so hopefully by tomorrow, it'll all be built out and done. And that is about it.